overview because there may be some questions that will take a little bit longer. And we, like I said, we have an end time at 7 o'clock and we have to abide by that. You're recognized.
There we go. Thank you, Chair Williamson and delegation members. I'm here to present this bill on behalf of the Navarre Beach Fire Department. Navarre Beach Fire Department is currently a private fire company. Since 1990, it's provided fire protection, emergency medical response, advanced life support, motor vehicle accident response and rescue, water patrol and rescue services, and public education to the Navarre Beach community. It's a full-time fire department comprised of a chief, deputy chief, 3 captains, and 6 firefighters. It's currently funded through the Municipal Service Benefit Unit assessments on property owners assessed, collected, and distributed by Santa Rosa County. If approved by a vote of the residents, this local bill would convert the Navarre Beach Fire Department into an independent special fire control district by a 5-member elected board and operating pursuant to Chapter 191 of Florida statutes. The bill would provide greater transparency and accountability for district operations, allow district personnel to access the Florida retirement system, increase access to state resources and grants, and put the department on equal footing with the neighboring Holly, Navarre, and Midway fire districts. The bill, through the incorporated referendum question, will continue to fund the district through non-ad valorem assessments, the rate of which is set in the bill, and future increases are capped by Chapter 191. On November 3rd, 2020, 70% of the community residents voting in a non-binding referendum supported the creation of the district. For the bill to take effect, residents would have to approve the creation of the district a second time, this time in a binding referendum to be held prior to the end of the year 2022. And lastly, the bill is supported by Santa Rosa County and the Navarre Beach Leaseholders and Residents Association. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Do we have any questions? Is there any public input on the bill? All right, members in debate. I just wanted to make a comment for the public to know they came to me and talked to me about this bill. And one thing that I always do on a local bill when it gives somebody the authority to charge fees to the public is this is not something that has to be done, but it's something that I've done over the last few years, is to make sure that they do a non-binding referendum. And instead of setting it at 50%, I set it at 60%, that if I'm going to run the local bill, they have to have a non-binding referendum that's put on the county commission. They have to go in front of the board and it gets put on an election. And it has to be voted on by 60% or more of the public if they're going to be able to assess a fee. This, I think, passed at 70%. So the people in Navarre Beach said that they supported it at 70%. If this bill is approved by the delegation and I run it this year and it passes, then it comes back before the people of Navarre Beach, and then it only has to be approved at 50%. I feel that if they've already passed it in a non-binding referendum at 70%, and then it comes back before them and they pass it again, then it's something that Navarre Beach feels that they want to impose on themselves. So I'm going to support it tonight, but I just wanted to explain kind of my process as a representative, and I don't like fees, but if the people on Navarre Beach feel that they want to have those fees and possibly better services, then that's on them, because I don't live out on the beach, so I don't have a vote on it. But thank you for being here tonight. I would like to move for approval of this local bill without objection. Hearing none, it is approved. All right, that moves to our second local bill tonight. We have Mr. Gordon King with Okaloosa Gas District. Mr. King, you're recognized.
Thank you, Representative Williamson and Senator Broxson and Representative Andrade. I've met with you, several of you already, twice this week, and I failed to acknowledge your service to the state and to your constituents. I certainly see what you have to go through to carry out your duties as elected officials, and you have my sympathies. Trust me, it's a rough process. Okaloosa Gas District was created by an act of the legislature in 1953, and since then we've had our charter amended 3 times. 2 times were to expand the service from the original Okaloosa County area to include parts of Santa Rosa County in 1955, and then in 1986 parts of southern Walton County. And since that time, the district has grown to over 48,000 customers in the 3-county area, and we continue to expand. And we're looking at the opportunities currently not served by gas customers in the northern part of Santa Rosa County in the northern part of Walton County to get the legislature's permission to essentially enable us to expand our services as needed into those areas. Currently, we can only expand our services where we're endowed by the charter to do so. So tonight, we're asking for that support so that we could go forward with a bill to enable us to do that.
Thank you, Mr. King. Do we have any questions from the delegation? Representative Andrade, you're recognized.
Thanks, Chair. I think, Mr. King, it might feel a little bit like deja vu, but I did want to just ask some questions that we've been discussing. Are you comfortable adding board representation from Santa Rosa County on the Okaloosa Gas Board?
Yes, sir. We're going to bring that to our board next week. I feel comfortable that the board would consider and entertain that and approve that motion, as we are no longer a local one-county utility, but we serve the Panhandle region. We want to be recognized as a Panhandle provider of utilities that we serve, and I think it only seems fit that at this time in a 68-year history, it's time to make some of those moves. So yes, sir, we would do that. Move to do that as well in Walton County.
And on the same token, are you comfortable committing and codifying a commitment not to charge a different rate based on jurisdictional boundaries between the counties?
Yes, sir. We do not do that, never have do that, and we would be more than happy to add that to language in the charter such that it says we don't charge differential rates between consumers in different counties.
And as we work through the local bill process, I know that there's some difficulty of finding it, but to the best of your general interpretation, what is an unserved area?
Well, we see unserved areas as those that don't currently have access to natural gas service. Certainly, North Walton County has no access to natural gas, nor does northern part of Santa Rosa County, except for the town of Jay and the customers they serve. And so we see the growth coming to the counties, and we feel that customers need choice in their energy selection. And we stand ready and willing to expand our services to those customers.
No, I just appreciate your willingness and openness to, meeting with the other utility companies in Santa Rosa County and hashing some of these issues out, especially discussing maps going forward as we start working on what the local bill actually defines as the territory. So I appreciate your coordination with them as we go forward.
Happy to do so, and appreciate your time tonight.
Senator Broxton, you're recognized.
To put this in proper structure, you met with the Escambia County delegation. You're meeting with Santa Rosa, met with Okaloosa. You will meet with Walden. The actual bill sponsor for this is a representative from Walton County. And what we're doing is a procedural vote that says, since we're part of your statutory authority, that we have to sign on the efforts that Representative Drake is making in Walden County. So what we're doing tonight is perfunctory in that we're simply recognizing a need for these gas deserts that exist and giving people an opportunity to do, in some cases, energy that would be much less expensive than other forms of service. So with that being said, I think that we're going to notify, hopefully, Representative Drake that we want him to carry on with his bill and present it to the legislature at the proper time as a local bill.
Thank you.
Mr. King, have you sat down with the city of Milton to discuss kind of the area that and show the map of where you are now as far as what you can service, and then what that expansion looks like? Have you sat down with them?
Not concerning the service territory that we're asking for expansion into. They currently don't serve any of that, but we certainly have talked with them in the past and are willing to sit back down with them before the bill gets finalized, just to address concerns that they may have and try to resolve any issues that exist out there, as we would with Gulf Breeze or any of the municipalities that are included in the areas, Definiak Springs being one as well. So we'll be talking with those companies. Municipalities.
Okay, that would just be my ask of you. If you will please do that, that would give me comfort level as we move forward.
Sure.
Okay, is there any public input specifically to this bill? Any public input? Mayor Lindsay?
Yes,
Okay. Madam Mayor, you're recognized. Good
Thank
to
you,
see
sir. Welcome to Milton, our beautiful city. Thank you for being with us tonight. I just wanted to briefly say that I look forward to that meeting. Both the city of Gulf Breeze, city manager and mayor are here tonight, the city manager of Milton and they have all discussed our concerns about this bill. For example, we've already invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in infrastructure to serve some of the same areas we think they want to serve. And so we're concerned about that. We also have some concerns based on our belief, and we're obviously ready to learn more to understand where your opinions are coming from, but we believe we are providing the service at a lower rate than they have been providing it or would provide it here. So we have some discussion we'd like to have about this so that we can understand better how this would impact our constituents and your constituents in our cities. We would like to make sure that our ratepayers that are outside the city limits of Milton have the best price that they can possibly get for the service that can be provided. And so we'd also like to make sure that there's been enough discussion about accountability for this entity to the ratepayers and to the voters. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anyone else in public input specifically to this bill? You're recognized.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Senator Representatives. I just really could not say it better than our sister city, Milton, but we, on behalf of our mayor and council and citizens and ratepayers in the greater Gulf Breeze area, want to echo the same. We first want to say that we have a great relationship with Okaloosa Gas. They are our wholesale gas provider. CEO Gordon King has done a phenomenal job and has relationships with our staff that goes back many years. In fact, the infrastructure that we have in place was done in consultation with many of the staff who are there now. Just like Mayor Lindsay said, years ago when Santa Rosa County awarded a franchise to both Milton and Gulf Breeze, it was in recognizing that those existing utilities could provide the most economical natural gas, and in fact we do. Silver lining of this concept is that we sat down with our sister city and compared our rates with Okaloosa Gas that I can tell you just 2 weeks ago we didn't realize how closely they align. So like the city of Milton, I can tell you just by coincidence that we too provide gas at 20% less than our wholesale gas provider, Okaloosa Gas. Unfortunately, I also have correspondence from Okaloosa Gas from January 4th, where they advise us that they in fact are running redundant lines within our service area, which means that on residential roads in Holly by the Sea, you have Gulf Breeze natural gas customers who are paying 20% less now than Okaloosa Gas customers. And that is obviously not a dispute that this delegate can do anything about, but I think it does typify the fact that we're here to say, though we support Okaloosa Gas providing gas where there is currently no lines in the northern rural parts of the county, we do want to make sure that you don't inadvertently support something that would either cure a dispute or accidentally or inadvertently create a dispute in the future. We want to make sure that we uphold the legislator's intent and the county's intent that the gas that is most economical is what is provided to our ratepayers in our greater Milton and greater Gulf Breeze areas. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and thank you for hearing us.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? All right, do we have any other public input? And just for clarity for the public, because you're not looking at any kind of maps, the proposed area that Okaloosa Gas has is a northern portion of Walton County and a northern portion of Santa Rosa County that right now has no gas services at all. But there are some maybe disputes, which is not this legislative body's, this delegation's authority to figure out. That's the PSC's authority to figure out, or hopefully these gas services to figure out amongst themselves. That's why we would like for them to sit down and have talks as this bill moves forward, as long as it passes tonight, and if it even passes the legislature, and hopefully y'all will be able to figure those disputes out. But I just want to let everybody know that the areas that they're looking at expanding through this bill do not have any gas services at this time. With that being said, is there any other public comment tonight on this bill? All right, that moves us to debate, members in debate. Representative Andrade, you're recognized in debate.
No, I appreciate the comments we've received so far from Okaloosa Gas, from Gulf Breeze, and from the city of Milton. Hopefully, I appreciate all the input Gulf Breeze and Okaloosa Gas have given me over the past few days on the history of this issue, and my hope is that some of those disagreements on issues in defining a new map can get hashed out amicably, because we as legislature, we don't resolve disputes, and we also don't want to kind of play an outsized or unintentional role in dispute resolution. So my hope is that we can kind of work through this in harmony this year and in full transparency and communication, and we can get something done for y'all this year.
Thank you, Representative. Senator Broxton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Representative Andrade for mentioning to the bill sponsor the fact that we require representation. I think one of the real frustrations that we see from many citizens is that rates or conditions are imposed on them from elected bodies that they are not part of. And to know that we're going to have the center of the county commission and the Walden County Commission point an at-large person to sit on the board to represent the needs of those people that are paying for that service is, to me, a cornerstone of what we believe in, and that is proper representation and giving people the right to have a say. So hopefully Representative Drake will add that to the language, and that we will have something where people will have an avenue where they can make complaints and express their concerns.
Thank you, Senator Broxton. Seeing that there is no more debate, I would like to move approval of the Okaloosa Gas District local bill without objection. Hearing none, it is approved. Okay, that moves us to our regular agenda items. We have no more official action that has to take place tonight. The rest of the agenda items that are official agenda items, you will have 3 minutes, and then when we move to public testimony, we're going to have to probably move it down to 2 minutes apiece. Mayor Lindsay with the City of Milton. Madam Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. Once again, welcome. I'm so thankful to see y'all. Appreciate the service that you give us, and I appreciate our friendships. I wanted to say thank you again for your support of the critical infrastructure that we are hoping to break ground on this month. I've asked Randy to set it up for my birthday, January 28th. So we are hopeful that we are going to be moving forward with the wastewater treatment facility infrastructure build out that we're going to be doing in East Milton, or towards the interstate. And y'all are all familiar with it, so I don't want to spend a lot of time since you only have given me 3 minutes, but I will just refresh everybody that
recently opened Arcadia Homestead site interprets our more recent history through the only historic house museum that is open to the public regularly here in Santa Rosa County. Annually, we host over 15,000 visitors, and the breakdown is about 60% local citizens from the Tri-County area and about 40% out-of-town guests. In fiscal year 2018 to 2019, we hosted 2,087 school tour students, and we offer a very dynamic experience that highlights a multidisciplinary approach with science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. The site was previously funded by a bill that was passed in 2006 to fund archaeology at the state level, and that bill was vetoed in 2018. And while we have engaged the state legislature to restore the funding, we have been unsuccessful. And as a result, Arcadia's operations have been severely impacted, and we are now only open 2 days a week to the public. And our once thriving school tour and public programming has also been discontinued because of constraints on funding and staffing, which in turn affects our site maintenance and preservation. It is a critical time here in Northwest Florida as we navigate a global pandemic and we continue our recovery efforts from Hurricane Sally. But I think right now it is crucial that we offer safe outdoor recreation to our community, and it is imperative that we're offering dynamic experiences to our youth to supplement their education. So please help support Arcadia to continue its mission to promote lifelong learning, critical thinking, community engagement, and providing a place for the community and tourists alike to enhance their quality of life. And I appreciate everything that you do, and I hope that I can have your support in the upcoming session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have a great facility out there. My son loves it. Both my children actually love it, and I try to take them about every other month or so. Over the next fiscal year, we're going to look at probably a $2.8 billion with a B billion dollar deficit, and then probably around a $1.9 billion deficit the next fiscal year. So all of the budget cuts that we make over the next year are going to help for that following year. So it's going to be very tight. And I know the legislature probably says that every year, and then all of a sudden we sing Kumbaya and we have money at the end. That's not going to happen this year. So the requests for member projects are probably going to be much more slim than they are in the past, and it's hard to get member projects every year, but it's especially going to be really tough this year. Doesn't mean we can't ask, but just being the realist, it's going to be very tough. But I do look forward to trying to see what we can do. Maybe the archaeology money, we can see if we can find ways to get that funding back. If there's a special legislative budget request that we can do, we can try to see if we can find that funding source. I'll work on that with you. I'll commit to that because I think you have a hidden gem in Northwest Florida, and I'm glad that it's right here in Santa Rosa County. But it's going to be a really tough year for everything. But thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Ed Meadows, Pensacola State College. Dr. Meadows, you're recognized.
Thank you, Representative Williamson and Representative Andrade and Senator Bloxon. Y'all well know why I'm here, and I apologize for not being there Tuesday night, but we had our first board meeting in about 4 months. That was face-to-face with new board members. There are special pots of money, and we know the hardships, with the general budget. We certainly do. This brings us back to PICO. This is the 7th year that we've been asking to complete the bars building. We were fortunate through your assistance and support over the years, the past 6 years, that we were able to complete phase 1. And we will have our ribbon cutting ceremony in March. All 3 of you will be invited and also invited to speak. Since you all had a part in making this dream for the college come true. But it's going to house our cyber center. We have almost 400 students enrolled in that program, and we have economic entities in both counties. As a matter of fact, in all 4 counties, working hard to not only recruit cyber companies, but also to keep pace with the labor shortage in cybersecurity. We also have our mathematics tutoring lab and some faculty offices and mathematics classrooms in that 24,000 square foot facility. We still need $18 million out of PICO to complete phase 2 of this project. As I said, it's the 7th year in the making, and we're hopeful this year that this special pot of money will be directed in our way somehow to help us get a foothold on managing the timeline to complete that project. We also, for the 3rd year, are requesting funding for paving. We have severe problems with paving that in some instances is over 30 years old, and so you know about that as well. I do sincerely want to thank you for supporting higher education and secondary education. You know, almost 20% of our students are dual enrolled. And we have about 70 to 90 students a year that graduate with their associate degree before they get their high school diploma. So we feel like we're a good partner in Santa Rosa County and certainly in Escambia County with all segments, including the University of West Florida, through our articulation agreement, where we are the biggest transfer body of students to UWF, being right there in the neighborhood. Senator Broxton, I've worked with you over, I think, since 2010, and every time I go by the Milton campus, I think about that day that you met with DOT and helped us out with straightening out our entryway to the campus. And as a result, you know, we got some money for our marquee out there. Unfortunately, right now, the electronic part is down, and it's been down for about 3 weeks, and it's going to take probably another 3 weeks to get it up and going. But I sincerely appreciate if you had not been there, it's the fastest I've ever seen the highway department get busy straightening something out. So we really do appreciate for that. And Representative Williamson, you helped us last year sponsoring our pavement bill. We appreciate your efforts there, and I understand that may not happen this year, but it's going to be on the list as it has been the last couple of years, and so when times are better, maybe we can get that done as well.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here. Do we have any questions for Dr. Meadows? Senator Broxton, you recognize.
Mr. Chairman, I think you know that we have a new Senate President and a Speaker that has an affection for the 28 colleges that in many ways has been forgotten about over the last several years. And we're looking at education more as workforce, what it delivers back to the community. And we know that with the tremendous national debt that we have, where people owe over $2 trillion for their student loans, that we need to revisit why local education is so important. So hopefully you're going to get some good news. I know you've gotten some good news from CARES that's been directed to you from the federal government, but we want to make sure that you have some equality in our budget, and that's our goal to do that this year. So thank you for your patience and your service, and we look forward to seeing you in Tallahassee.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Dr. Meadows, for being here. We appreciate everything you do. All right, we have Dr. Dallas Peavy with Holly Navarre Water System. Is it Peavy? Peavy. Like the amp?
Just like.
Okay. You are recognized.
Thank you. Gentlemen, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak before this important board and collection. My name again is Dr. Dallas Peavy. I'm the CEO of Holly Navarre Water Systems. We are a member-owned, not-for-profit corporation established in 1980. We provide water and wastewater services to over 17,700 member services, and we also provide over 45,000 customers services, sustained clean water supply. I bring that up for a couple of reasons. First, I'd like to offer our thanks for the legislative delegation regarding their support on the Santa Rosa County Regional Reuse System Project. As you know, during the last legislative session, we requested consideration for appropriation to assist in the construction of a pipeline to provide transmission of the system reuse water to Eglin Air Force Base. This project was designed to address the collective needs to reduce the disposal of effluent in Santa Rosa Sound, as well as to address additional capacity to meet the growing demand that otherwise we would reach capacity by the end of next year. While that budget was not funded in the 2021 fiscal year budget, we were able to work out a regional partnership to complete a much larger project with internal and external sources of funding for this needed project. With the help of our partners, the County of Santa Rosa, as well as the City of Gulf Breeze, we have begun work on this multi-phase project to meet the goals of the county for the next several decades. This project would not have been possible without the great coordination and assistance of the Northwest Florida Water Management District, and more importantly, the funding that was provided by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. This project is a testament to the governor's true commitment to water quality and the approximate 100,000 current county representatives and residents, as well as your constituents. The second thing that I'd like to bring to your attention and speak on is, in my capacity as the Executive Director of Fairpoint Regional Utility System, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deep concern for the drinking water safety and supply in the South Santa Rosa County. As you may know, between the period of 2011 and completed in 2013, the county conducted an extensive EPA-funded study on the need to establish the East Milton Wellfield Protection Area to enable the county to protect all important portable water supply, drinking and otherwise. This supply was supposed to be protected from the potential contamination of outside sources. The study focused on the vulnerability of the aquifer and the potential impact to the supply of well fields that ultimately provide for the county's clean drinking water. Thus, an amendment to the county's comprehensive plan ensued, creating the East Milton Wellfield Protection Area. With those assurances, the Wellfield Protection Area, the collection Fairpoint Regional System Utilities to date has invested over $21.7 million. With the well number 7 that is going in, we expect that to be another $2.5 million worth of investment in that wellfield protection area. This area was set up to ensure the continued availability of clean drinking water supply source for the citizens of South Santa Rosa County. The concerns, however, is that the County Commission in December of 2020 recently voted on a 3-2 vote to amend that comprehensive plan
About 15 seconds.
to remove those protections, and as outlined in the state statute, have transmitted the proposed land use amendment to the applicable state agencies for their review. We, and I as a new resident, are very concerned about this. Chairman Williamson, Senator Broxton, Representative Andrade, I respectfully request that you consider urging these council members to carefully review their
Mr. Speaker,
agency
I
comments.
hate to cut you off. We've gotten some emails on this, and I know that I've gotten a lot of them. I can't speak for the other ones, and I'm sorry to cut you off just because we have a lot of other speakers that we have to get moving along, and I'll be glad to talk with you after the meeting on this
Okay.
subject because I'm aware of it, and I actually sat on the county commission. I think I came onto the board right after that this vote was made to put it in place. And,
Okay.
but thank you for bringing it to our attention and speaking tonight.
If you have
We've
any
got to keep
questions,
moving along. Do we have any questions?
Prepared.
No, sir.
thank
But
you very much.
I'll speak with you after the meeting.
Thank you.
All right, Michael Beatty is not here for the League of Cities. Jonathan Cole is not here at the moment. Chance John Meyer with Recall Florida. Mr. John Meyer, you are recognized.
Senator Broxton, Representative Williamson, Representative Andrade. My name is Chance Chalmer. I'm the founder of Recall Florida. Tonight I speak on behalf of 2,000 nonpartisan members. Each and every day we take on new Florida members. We are the voice of 60 counties. Our mission is to obtain a sponsor from both House and Senate willing to file a Senate Joint Resolution Amendment Bill to amend Florida Statute 100.361. We're looking for a sponsor who's willing to stand with a growing group of county citizens over the wishes of special interest groups. Our members are tired of corruption at the county level. For example, we're tired of county commissioners neglecting to properly fund core services. We're tired of attempts to restrict our voices of dissent. We want equal protection granted under the 14th Amendment of our U.S. Constitution, the power that 20 charter counties and municipalities currently have to recall corrupt elected officials. Representative Williamson, I want to take a minute and thank you for speaking with me this last Friday and reaching out to your fellow legislators on our behalf. Gentlemen, it is our understanding the Florida legislature can by 3/5 vote in each chamber place this amendment question on the next general election ballot in 2022. The good news for us is that we have the 2021 legislative session and the 2022 legislative session to accomplish this mission. We are aware that we need 24 or 40 senators, which is only 3 more than a simple majority of 21 needed for a statute, and 72 of 120 representatives, which is just 11 more than the simple majority of 61 needed for a statute to pass and be placed on the 2022 general election ballot. What do you think, guys? Do you think 60% of Florida voters would approve an amendment giving them the power to recall corrupt elected officials for the causes already stipulated in Florida Statute 100.361? It is not a runaway anything. It is a very detailed and exacting process. None of us are fortune tellers. Who will run in the future for one party while having the political ideology of another? Who will say they value our Constitution and then enact policies contrary to that? None of us know what our future holds. None of us know in this county, in this Escambia County, what candidates we will be faced with and what they will tell us to our face. And then once they're behind office chairs, enact policies contrary to that. We think our cause is noble and just. Will you stand with us? We look forward to your response. Thanks for allowing me this time. Have a good evening.
Do we have any questions? Mr. John Meyer, thank you for coming before us. I know we've talked at length about this, and there's still more research I have to do about it. I know we thought this could be a simple change of statute. It actually has to be a change in the Constitution. There's multiple ways that that can be done. One way that a thing can be put on the Constitution is by, I thought it was 2/3, but I guess it is 3/5. I think that's a different beast than simply running a bill that changes statute, but and then also, I think that there's one way you can recall people. You vote them out for office the next time that they run for reelection. I mean, but I also do feel that you should have the opportunity, if somebody is just not doing their duties, that a recall would be good. But what I don't want to have is that simply people are not voting the way that you feel you want them to vote. I mean, I make votes sometimes that people don't like. They don't need to vote for me the next election if they feel that way. I mean, that's what happens whenever people run for re-election. You shouldn't vote for them. If people are doing criminal acts and things like that, they can be removed now. If they're just not doing their duties at all, they do need to be removed. And if those are the ways and those are the things that are happening, then they should be removed if they're not doing their job. But if it's simply just people don't like the way that they vote, I wouldn't want it to be abused. So I still have a lot of research that I would want to do on this. And I do know that charter counties use it now, 22 of them. And I think you told me
20 of them.
that it's
If I
only
might-
been used once or twice in the last 10, 20 years.
In the last 10 years, it's been used 24 times. If I might just say, the statute's been in effect since 1968. So 20 charter counties have had a chance to misuse that statute. And nowhere in the statute does it say that you can recall somebody just because you don't like their policies. It's very specific.
Okay, so I still have questions on it. I think it is a different animal when you talk about a constitutional amendment, which then you got to go around the state and make sure that the people of Florida will vote on this. And there are petition ways to get things on the ballot through a constitutional amendment. There's things, I think there's the constitutional review, which happens every 20 years, and that just happens, so you're not going to wait on that, but let's continue the conversation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
All right, that moves us to Ann Williams, Criminal Justice Reform. Ms. Williams, you're recognized.
Good evening. Thank you for your tireless service during this pandemic and this frantic pace. I have been advocating for criminal justice reform for 10 years now. At age 14, 8th grade, middle school, my son was arrested after suffering a substance-induced toxic psychosis from a poisonous amount of the over-the-counter laxative Miralax, not approved for children, yet prescribed by his pediatrician. He accepted a plea deal as an adult of 20 and a half years. That never should have happened. I believe my son was also a victim. Florida continues to be one of the worst states in our nation for harsh sentences and poor treatment of children and adults alike. In 2016, Florida direct filed more youth than California, Texas, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Michigan combined. I know many of you are aware of how broken our criminal justice system is. Since 2016, more than 16,000 children have been growing up in Florida's adult prisons. Most of these children were traumatized prior to incarceration. Florida cannot continue to further damage human beings. No child should ever be in an adult prison. A second look bill is desperately needed. Everyone deserves a second chance, especially children and young adults whose brains are not fully developed. When Florida abolished parole in the 80s, hope was lost for thousands of our incarcerated and their families. I also want to point out that it is estimated 1 person out of 10 is innocent. So if you improve these laws for no one but them, please pass needed legislation. A second look would allow those sentenced to life under the felony murder rule an opportunity to a possible life outside of prison. Many people are serving life sentences under the felony murder rule when they were not the person who committed the murder. I implore you to pass laws allowing those who did not commit a murder but are sentenced as if they did a second look. I hope all of you have read the Department of Justice report on Lowell Women's Prison. Body cameras have been introduced to police officers across our land. I suspect Cheryl Weimar would not have been paralyzed by a guard, and Florida would not be subject to hundreds of lawsuits if guards were required to wear body cameras. Florida has no reasonable choice but to implement the use of body cams. Cameras protect the guards and our loved ones who honestly have been treated in an inhumane manner. Cameras will demand accountability. People will often not react violently knowing a camera is recording. Body cams alleviate some staffing issues. Cameras also watch what the eye misses and are a deterrent to contraband. In closing, COVID has proven to us all that we must get to a place where reasonable, responsible reduction in numbers of those in prison can reduce cost and death. The Florida state budget has so much to gain. We all know it. I am respectfully asking for you to do your very best this session to be the change agents you want to be and can be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, that moves us to Jenny Horde, the criminal justice reform, another criminal justice reform. You're recognized.
Thank you. I am here today on behalf of my husband, Jason Horde. He has served 25 very long, painful years in Florida prisons. He was sentenced to life under felony murder rule at the age of 18. Since '95, the felony murder rule has been abolished in many states. And this session, Senator Bracy has filed Senate Bill 478 revising felony murder rule for Florida. Felony murder can be applied to all that are presumed to be involved in an underlying felony committed at the time of someone's death, even if they were not present. My husband was asleep in a friend's home when his best friend was killed. He got into a car in fear for his life. By getting into the car that day, he became responsible for all that had happened to his best friend. He was 18 years old when his friend was killed. We learned the night before that we were going to become parents. My daughter is now 24, our daughter, and he has missed her whole life. She now has 3 children of her own. This session, there are several great bills that could positively impact those incarcerated who are serving harsh and unjust sentences. Senate Bill 474 could also help my husband Jason's case, as well as Senate Bill 662, which addresses resentencing. These bills would not only cover the protection of society, but also ensure those that behind bars are given a second chance. Please consider supporting and sponsoring these bills. Thank you.
Senator Broxton, you're recognized.
Is your husband from Gulf Breeze?
Yes.
He actually grew up with my children, and I remember the case very well. What really impresses me, though, frankly, is that that was 24 years ago, and you're standing here faithfully supporting your husband. That within itself is a phenomenal statement. And God bless you. God bless you for your hardship. And God bless Jason, and I hope things go well for him. So thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight and for having the courage to come and speak to us. Thank you. All right, did Jonathan Cole show up? Jonathan, we're on a strict time schedule. You got 3 minutes, and you don't have to use all of it, but you are recognized.
This is very short, but I haven't met with you gentlemen 2 years ago, and I appreciate the chance. Just want you to update on the effort with the Navarre Corporation. Even in spite of COVID, we weren't able to have the referendum in last year, but things are still moving forward. So we'll keep you apprised of where things are at. We're working now on getting the feasibility study worked out and then shooting for next year for the non-binding referendum. So since you're on a time crunch, we'll leave it at that then.
Do we have any questions? All right, there's no official business on this. I think that's something that the community has to figure out amongst the community of Navarre, and then I guess if there's something that gets put on a referendum, that would be put on by the Board of County Commissions.
Right, just a kind of a courtesy.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being here.
Right. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Chairman, can I have a
Senator
moment of
Broxton,
personal
yes.
privilege? I'm sorry we missed the gentleman that just left, Jimmy Smith, served in the House for 8 years, came with me in 2010, was a great member, a great veteran, and he's now with a veterans organization. We also have Representative Merson, who's here, who served faithfully for 8 years, and it's always an honor to have former members visit us in the chamber. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator Broxton. All right, we've moved through our agenda. This moves us to public testimony, and we're going to try to do 2 minutes apiece. And Commissioner Calkins, we're going to start with you. I'm just going to run through whatever order is in my hand here. Commissioner Calkins, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate y'all's service. Keep up the good work. And I came up here to talk about House Bill 123 that was sponsored by Representative Sabatini about constitutional carry. There are currently about 16 states right now that allow constitutional carry. As a matter of fact, one of the most liberal states in the Union, Vermont, has constitutional carry. And so I think that we can get it done. And I've been disappointed as far as, we've been going backwards when it comes to gun rights. I think we need to start going forward when it comes to gun rights. And this could be, and I know y'all are sponsoring some good legislation. I've read them recently. I appreciate that. But I would like to ask Senator Broxton if he can sponsor it in the Senate, because this bill doesn't have a Senate sponsor. And I would also like to ask Representative Williamson and Representative Andrade to please co-sponsor Anthony Sabatini's House Bill 123. And just so you know, I'm a county commissioner. I'm only speaking from myself and not as the Board of County Commissioners, just as a single individual commissioner. So I'd appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day, and thanks for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, for being here. All right, we have Maria Calkins, First Lady of District 2, 4, 3.
Actually,
You're
this
recognized.
is my first time speaking here, so good evening, and it's great seeing you, Senator Broxson, Representative Williamson, and Representative Andrade. Quite frankly, I will be missing seeing you this upcoming session. So I would like to join my husband and ask for your support for House Bill 123. And as James had mentioned, that bill does not have a senator that sponsored it on the Senate side, so we would really appreciate, at least Calkins family would really appreciate if Senator Broxson will champion this bill on the Senate side. And also, I know that Representative Williamson, you have been running some good conservative bills, and as well as Representative Andrade, and I would like to ask for your co-sponsoring, for you to co-sponsor that bill and help Representative Sabatini, as he really needs your help, especially as you mentioned, Senator Broxson, we experiencing this challenging times. And as also wanted to mention one other issue, as I worked with former legislator in Florida House, we have accepted a lot of complaints about delays on receiving the license to concealed carry license. So it's a lot of time, unusual time to wait. Even from one case was from the pastor from District 1 that could not receive his concealed carry permit. So we believe in constitutional rights, and we would appreciate your support for that constitutional carry bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, Debbie Gano. You're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me to speak here tonight. I know you take your oath of office freely and solemnly upon entering the office you now hold. I emphasize these words of your oath. I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida. Given those words, you are charged, mandated, to reject any laws, policies, executive orders, or bureaucratic regulations that are issued by an illegitimate presidential administration that has aligned itself with the Chinese Communist Party through corrupt transactions and PACs. This new administration has been shown to have been seeded through a questionable election where the CCP sought to influence America's 2020 national elections per DNI John Ratcliffe's assessment released in a letter to Congress on January 7, 2021. The Florida State Constitution, Chapter 86, Section 876, Section 02, criminal anarchy, communism, and other specified doctrines, basically says when anyone or any agency takes steps to overthrow our constitutional form of government under the guidance of a foreign state, it is a felony. I say that is exactly what the current administration has done. Amendment 10 of the U.S. Constitution states the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. You have it within your duties to restore state sovereignty and take back our state's power from the overreaching government in D.C. With courage and knowledge, there are means whereby you can regain control of our state's education and healthcare systems, independently manage the natural resources within our state and along our shores, cut out of control federal spending that is bankrupting America, stop unfunded federal mandates, and restore the constitutional rights of the state. And you must stand against any and all threats to our ability to protect ourselves, family, and property documented in the Second Amendment. The role of the states and the federal government has been grossly distorted from the vision held by our founding fathers. The founders intended the states to serve as a check against an all-powerful federal government.
About 20 seconds, Ms. Debbie.
I'm about finished. The federal government has grown exponentially during the last few decades, taking more authority from the states while handing down an increasing number of mandates. It is incumbent on you as our state lawmakers to restore the proper balance of power because the federal government has proven itself unwilling to relinquish power and has put other governments in positions of power over this nation. Through legislation and bills, through legislation and resolutions, you have the tools at your disposal to restore state sovereignty. Pass bills that reestablish Florida's sovereignty. Be that person. Be the one to stand and restore Florida's state sovereignty. Be the one to ignite the movement to restore the great republic we call America.
Thank you, Ms. Debbie.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Can you send that to, Ms. Debbie, can you email that to me as well? Can you send that to me as well? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Will you send that to me as well? Because
I will.
you put off some statutes and different things, and I would just like to have that.
I will
Thank
send
you.
that to you.
Mr. Jerry Cooey, it's going to be the hardest thing in your life to finish in 2 minutes, but you're recognized, sir.
I'm often accused of going long, but seldom am I proven to be long. Thank you all for being here. There's nothing more important than clean water. Without clean water, there's no economic development. Without clean water, there's no tax base. If you have any doubts to those statements, ask the fine people in Flint, Michigan, how it's working out for them. In 2011, we spent almost 2 years discussing the well protection area. It was in the newspaper. It was on the radio. It was discussed in this house. It was discussed in cities all over the place. The Board of County Commissioners, on a 5-0 vote, decided to set aside the well protection area. Those current wells are servicing 80,000 people right now, and that number is growing every day. The Land Development Code is important. We don't need to be changing it willy-nilly. All those protections were well discussed. They were out in the open. It was not secretive meetings. It was made vastly aware. The public was vastly aware of everything that was in that. And we all agreed that we would have those in place. To come now, 9 years later, to say that we shouldn't have well protection and that we should change that, I find that to be short-sighted. As a legislature, you guys have bought springs all over the state of Florida. You've protected the pristine waters of the state of Florida all over the place. I stand before you saying probably one of the most important things that I've ever said. Protect this water. Get with the state agencies and let's stop this now before it gets out of hand. Our water is important, and we have a gem in East Milton, Florida, with that soil and gravel aquifer. Please, please do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooey. Carmen Reynolds. Mr. Cooey, I do want to say I'm proud of you. 2 minutes and 5 seconds, I'm proud of you. Come on, Ms. Reynolds. You're recognized.
Marks, thank you.
Everybody can hear you now.
Okay. I wish when they get done, they wouldn't hit the button because it's just not good. 2 remarks you made, Senator Broxton, tonight. You talked about the taxpayer dollars and you talked about being here tonight to do what's right for the people. And to make a long story short, I'm here from the Coalition for Santa Rosa's Water Future, and I wanted to reiterate that our water is very important. We are down to basic brass tacks now. Brass tacks. The people, the bear has been poked. 80 to 100,000 people depend on that water, from East Milton to Holly to Navarre Beach to Midway and all of Gulf Breeze incorporated and unincorporated. It is just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is food and water. We need that to sustain, and the people need that. We are begging you to be cognizant of that fact and work on our behalf. The bear has been poked. We are paying attention. We need water to survive. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Do we have any? All right, Patty Burke. Patty Burke. Ms. Burke, you have a whole list of things you want to talk about, and
I added to it. Thank you, gentlemen,
2
for being
minutes.
here and giving us, the public, an opportunity to address you. I urge you to support House Bill 6003, House Bill 203, House Bill 241, and Senate Bill 582. Last year, Representative Sabatini brought House Bill 1365. He has not picked it up again. I hope that it will be, and it would be wonderful if all three of you, of course, on the Senate side and the House side, would take that up. Let's see, next item, grandparents' rights. In particular, when a parent has lost a child, but yet that child has given birth to grandchildren, and when the son-in-law or daughter-in-law will not allow visitation to those grandchildren, I'm hoping that somebody can do something to represent those grandparents that are being kept from their grandchildren. And I understand if there's a dangerous situation, but when there's a loving relationship, it seems like there's something that we could do. I want to voice my support for Recall Florida, and also with Mike Hill not serving at the Florida legislature, and he was kind of our go-to to address the abortion clinic in Pensacola, that they are not adhering to the law that requires admitting privileges to the area hospitals. I know that Maria actually did a lot of work, Representative Hill did a lot of work, conversation between ACA and back and forth, and still the abortion clinic is operating, but not within the bounds of the law. And lastly, I feel like we may be a target going forward as far as our clean elections. And so if there's anything that you all can do to update keeping the voter rolls clean, because it is a process when someone dies that it still takes quite a bit of time to get those people removed, and especially the people that have moved out of the state. And then I know we've got a wonderful supervisor of elections here, as does Escambia County. There should not be any updates to the systems, the tabulating machines, and I want to make sure that that doesn't happen in our state, so maybe putting that into the law would be a good idea, as well as limiting the internet connection to only at the point where the polls have closed and there's a transmission of the voting tally to the supervisor's office. Otherwise, there should not be any kind of internet connection.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. William Marquardt? Marquardt?
I don't have anything. I'm a committee person. I don't have anything.
You don't have anything? Okay, and I apologize if I butchered your name. I went to Milton High School, so my English is not well. Rod Miller. Mr. Miller, you're recognized.
Good evening, gentlemen. Senator Broxton, Representative Williamson, and Representative Andrea. I'm here on behalf of Santa Rosa Shores Homeowners Association. We have over 708 parcels with 230 waterfront lots, and over 2,000 residents in our community. Our two things are concerned. One is the South Santa Rosa Utilities, where they have about 4,300 customers within the city, and over 6,500 sewer customers, or I'm sorry, not in the city, but that's the total customers, I would believe, at this time. The majority of those are outside the city limits. The board members that are on the SSRUS are not provided by us. We have no input into it. And the folks that supposedly, quote, to represent our area, we try to communicate with them. And it's impossible to get any kind of input or feedback from them on the issues. I realize that the rates that can be charged for utilities outside the city limits will be normally higher. But in our case, the sewer plant is in our community. We surround the community. We surround the sewer plant. Our rates are continuously being increased, and we're concerned about that without justifications. Now, I want to commend the city of Gulf Breeze and the water department because they did say that we needed to replace our water meters. And that was great. The only problem was they said one of the reasons they needed to replace them was that the usage wasn't being properly recorded, and it was being under-recorded, and they were losing money. So they want to put new meters in. So the good news is they put in electronic meters that could be read from the water department. And they no longer had to go around and read meters, service that, and all the cost of that. When I asked the utilities
20
board,
seconds, please.
Okay. When I asked the utilities board about that, how many hours they spent reading meters, they couldn't tell us. We have no input on this. We would like to see if there's a possibility that we can have representatives on the South Illinois Utilities Board to be elected or voted or recommended by the community and not by the city picking individuals to be on that board.
All right.
The only other comment I would say is, so we believe that you take it to state statutes or whatever we need to do. If we could vote on the people that do that, or the community can do that, the other communities, we'd appreciate that. So that they would be our representatives.
Mr. Miller, we're getting short on time because we do have some
Yeah,
business we have to take care of.
One
We have
last
two more
thing,
speakers.
we do have it on a different topic on the
Mr. Miller, we'll have to talk about it after the meeting. We have two more speakers, and we have to do some official business, and we have to be done by 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. I don't like cutting people off. I'm sorry, but
thank you.
Thank you. Anything? Okay.
I know that they were recently audited, South Center Rosa Utility Board. I'll go pull the audit and review it, and if there's any concerns that I see, I'll reach out to you, sir.
Lonnie Hawkins. You're recognized.
Thank you. And a belated happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
For the last 2 months, we've been hearing about election fraud and election irregularities, and I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about legal elections happening in Santa Rosa County, and yet the will of the people not being heard. The write-in loophole. We have open primaries, unless you got a write-in candidate, which closes the primary. Of the ballots cast in our primary, 25.18% in 2 county commission races were not allowed to vote because of write-in candidates. I used to run campaigns, and the first question I would always ask, you want to save money, get one of your buddies to be a write-in. You don't have to write to the other parties to get them to vote for you. I don't do campaigns anymore, and I'm about to be one of those that don't get to vote in primaries. The will of the people should be expressed in the votes. In the open primary, we had 33,500 votes cast. In the 2 closed primaries for county commission, over 7,000 people, those votes weren't cast. If you don't want to do away with that, at least look at Title 10, Chapter 100.061, where it says the person with the most votes wins. In one of the districts, 51.15% of the votes were cast against the now county commissioner. In the other district, 63.89% voted for someone else. I fought against Amendment 3 because Amendment 3 was bad. If you change a few words in 100.061,
20 seconds, Lonnie.
and say the top 2 move to the general election, it gives us a choice.
Can I see your last 10 seconds?
I don't know if I'm becoming a grumpy old man or making sense. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for the input. My first election was an open primary. I was encouraged by several people to get a ride in. I took the more expensive, more terrifying route of subjecting myself to a Democrat independent votes between two Republicans. I think if Republicans want to maintain that closed primary system, we should probably be comfortable saying we should pay the taxes to pay for the election process. We got state subsidized closed primaries right now. I don't think that's necessarily the best use of taxpayer dollar.
Thank you.
All right, we have Sandy Kemp. Miss Sandy? You are recognized.
Thank you.
I'm going to sound like a speed reader. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, so I'm Sandy Kemp. I'm publisher of our press for the past 21 years, also two-time past chair for Press Association. And today I'm speaking on for the public for their right to know. So the past few years, we've had a lot of bills be attempted. Right now, we have a Senate bill that will be at Broxton's committee on Monday. The very same lawmakers and politicians that run on transparency, smaller government, and upholding the sunshine laws are attempting to make it very dark for Floridians and increase the government and increase our cost. Please ask yourselves, why would a bill to fix something that is not broken be fast-tracked on a year when we have so many important issues on the table, including a pandemic? This bill is being pushed through the interim committee work with only virtual testimony from a room in the Civic Center, with no real face-to-face opportunities with senators, less public input and less transparency, and on issues affecting public notice. The newspapers and Florida Press Association have a public notice figured out. We are proactively improving the ability to push out public notices without prompting from lawmakers because we are on the people's side and their right to know. Here are a few facts. The bill is a big government solution to a currently functioning private system. Many lawmakers don't even know that this is written in state statutes already, but newspapers are required to post legal notices on their own websites where they must be accessible without a paywall. The notices must be uploaded to an aggregate FPA-managed website, which is floridapublicnotices.com. They're made available without charge. The website also allows users to request free of charge email notifications and soon text messages, because we're upgrading it, of legal notices that are in any newspaper and on their website. FPA has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to create and maintain the site.
About 15 seconds.
Oh, great. All right, why would the legislators substitute this private, robust, independently user-friendly online system that provide these notices and the public for free? Let me keep going. You already have a system that works. In addition to their print audience, the newspaper's web audience is typically 10 times larger than the city or county websites, which is where they're proposing to put public notices. Newspapers reach a minimum of 58 million unique online users through our websites in any given month. I'm going to stop here because I know you're going to listen to me later, but please look out for these bills that limit the public's right to know. Thank you.
You're always good about emailing us too, so thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Miss Mary Golden, we're going to finish with you. If you haven't filled out one of these forms to speak to us, you got to fill out a form, but we're running short on time, so you're not going to have a whole lot of time. Miss Mary Golden, you got 2 minutes, and then we have to do some short business. You recognize.
I can do it. Thank you, Chairman Williamson, Senator Broxton, and Representative Andrade. I am the chairman for the Santa Rosa County Republican Party. We are a proud, conservative Republican Party. We are interested in what happens in Santa Rosa County and making it a better place for all of us. And tonight, I come before you to present our new elected state committee man, David Farrell. David, will you please stand up? Thank you.
Don't clap too long.
And our re-elected state committee woman, Patty Burke. Patty. And I canceled our meeting for tonight so that our precinct committee men and women could come and listen to you. And I would like at this time for those that were able to come to please stand up so you can see them. Committee people?
Okay.
All right. There you go.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all the public testimony that we have tonight. We do have one order of business, which is the legislative delegation chairman election. Senator Broxton, you're recognized for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Representative Andrade as being our next
We have a
chairman.
motion for Representative Andrade to be the next chair. Are there any other motions? Hearing none, I close motions. All in favor of Representative Andrade being the next chair, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Congratulations, Representative Andrade. I do not like cutting people off in public testimony. I'm sorry that we have to do that. Usually we have 30 or 40 minutes left over after these meetings because we do not have this many people that show up, but that is great. I think that we have this many people showing up and this many people involved, and I hope that that is a sign for the future of this county and that you'll continue to come to government meetings, whether it's the county commission, the city council, or whatever it is. Please get involved. Please come and get in front of your elected officials and tell us what you want us to do and how we can best serve you, because that's what we need to be doing, is what the people tell us to do. I will stay here and talk, Mr. Peavy, anybody that I had to cut off, I'm sorry, but I'll stay here. I'll get in the parking lot if the county kicks us out and stay here all night and listen to you and talk to you if I have to. But I'm sorry because we have to end at 7 o'clock tonight. But with that, the meeting is adjourned.